347 hours, Persian Gulf, 62 nautical miles south of Bandar Abbas. The USS Gerald R Ford cuts through black water under a moonless sky, her escort screen maintaining perfect geometry in the darkness. Then the threat board explodes with contacts. Simultaneous radar returns. The Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, USS Porter, detects 47 inbound signatures climbing from Iranian coastal launch sites. INSP Y1T phased array radar paints the threat picture in microseconds. Ballistic missiles, anti-ship cruise missiles, and swarmboat formations departing from Revolutionary Guard Corps naval bases. A tactical action officer aboard Ford Keys, the 1MC. General Quarters. This is not a drill. Missile Defense Condition 1. Across the strike group, 6,800 sailors sprint to battle stations. The Iran scenario, the Fifth Fleet has drilled for 2 decades, is now live. At 349 hours, the first ballistic missiles reach apogee. 6 DF-21 anti-ship ballistic missiles, reverse-engineered from Chinese designs, arc through the upper atmosphere at Mach 6, targeting the carrier. Their terminal velocity exceeds anything the strike group has intercepted in live combat. Aegis Combat System calculates intercept solutions across 4 destroyers. USS Porter, USS Ramage, USS Stout, and USS Mason. Standard missile-free block, IA-8 interceptors, launch from vertical cells in rippling sequences. White contrails streak upward into pre-dawn darkness. Engagement range, 240 nautical miles and closing at 100 meters per second. At 351 hours, exo-atmospheric intercepts commence. The first SM-3 kinetic kill vehicle separates from its booster at the edge of space, maneuvering thrusters firing in milliseconds bursts. Infrared seeker locks onto the ballistic missile as heat signature. Impact velocity, 20 miles per h-hour, combined closing speed. The DF-21 disintegrates in a flash visible from the deck of Ford. Second intercept. Third intercept. But 2 ballistic missiles penetrate the outer defense layer, descending toward the strike group at terminal velocity. At 353 hours, mid-course defense activates. USS Ramage ripple fires for SM-6 dual-role missiles, the only weapon in the U.S. arsenal capable of hitting both aircraft and ballistic missiles in their terminal phase. The SM-6 has climbed to 65 feet, active radar seekers, painting the descending threats. Time to impact, 37 seconds. The 4th ballistic missile fragments under kinetic impact 14 miles above the Gulf. Debris rains into the ocean, white-hot metal hissing as it strikes the surface. But the 5th missile continues descent, now 22 miles out and accelerating. At 354 hours, the carrier-S inner defense layer engages. RIM-116, rolling airframe missiles launch from Ford S port quarter, infrared seekers tracking the ballistic missile S plasma trail. 11 seconds to impact. The RAM missile detonates its proximity-fused warhead 400 meters from the threat. The DF-21 tumbles, guidance destroyed, and plunges into the Gulf 1.2 nautical miles off Ford S starboard beam. The geysering impact throws salt water across the flight deck. No damage, but 43 cruise missiles are still inbound. At 356 hours, the anti-ship cruise missile wave reaches engagement range. Iranian-designed Noor missiles, reverse-engineered from Chinese C-800-2 designs, skim 15 feet above wave tops at Mach 0.9. See skimming profiles designed to defeat radar horizon limitations. The Strike Group SC-2D Advanced Hawkeye Airborne Hurley Warning Aircraft Vectors FA-18E Super Hornets to intercept positions 80 miles forward of the formation. Call sign, Radar 201, achieves radar lock. For AIM 120 DMRAM missiles ripple from weapons pylons. Impact in 19 seconds. 3 cruise missiles explode in mid-flight. The 4th continues, its radar seeker painting USS Stout. At 358 hours, evolved Sea Sparrow missiles engage. USS Stout SMK-29 launcher rotates toward the threat bearing, fire control radar maintaining continuous illumination. HUESSM missiles launch in 3-second intervals. The first intercepts at 6.4 nautical miles, fragmenting the Noor into burning debris. 14 cruise missiles break through the forward screen. Aegis orchestrates defensive fires across the strike group. SM to missiles from Porter, ESSM from Mason, SM-6 from Ramage. The sky becomes a lattice of missile contrails and detonations. 8 more cruise missiles destroyed. But 6 are inside 12 nautical miles, terminal defense range. At 401 hours, close-in weapon systems activate. Phalanx CIWS mounts across the strike group swivel toward inbound threats, 20 mm Gatling cannons, spinning to 4,500 rounds per minuet. Radar-guided fire control systems achieve lock. The first Phalanx opens fire at 1.6 nautical miles, tungsten penetrator rounds shredding a cruise missile-S airframe. It cartwheels into the Gulf, undetonated warheads sinking. USS Porter engages to missiles simultaneously, dual Phalanx mounts creating interlocking fire zones. Tracers arc across black water. Both threats destroyed at 0.9 nautical miles. 3 cruise missiles remain. At 402 hours, CRAM makes final intercepts. USS Ford CRAM launchers engage the last threats, 11 cell launchers pivoting in unison. Rolling airframe missiles launch at 2-second intervals, infrared seekers tracking exhaust plumes. First impact at 0.7 nautical miles. Second impact at 0.5 nautical miles. A final cruise missile closes to 0.3 nautical miles, 600 meters from Ford's hull, before RM missile detonates its warhead. The Noor explodes in a fireball that illuminates the carrier S-Island superstructure. Burning debris splashes into the Gulf. 0 hits. But the surface threat is accelerating. At 403 hours, Revolutionary Guard Corps fast attack craft swarm from Keshem Island. 42 boats, a mix of Chinese-designed Hudong-class wave-piercing catamarans and Iranian Peka-class fast attack craft, race toward the strike group at 42 knots. Each boat carries C-700 4 anti-ship missiles and 107 mm rocket pods. Engagement doctrine overwhelm point defenses whose sheer numbers. MH-60R Seahawk helicopters from Helicopter Sea Combat Squadron 8 intercept at maximum range. GM-114 Hellfire missiles launch from weapons pylons. Direct hits vaporize the lead boats in expanding fireballs, but the swarm adapts, dispersing into randomized attack patterns. At 407 hours, FA-18E Super Hornets execute a combat air patrol sweep. Heat aircraft from Carrier Air Wing 8 roll in from 80 feet, targeting pods painting the scattered boat formations. AGM-65E Maverick missiles launch in coordinated salvos. Laser guidance ensures each missile homes on a separate target. 12 boats explode simultaneously, debris arcing through pre-dawn darkness. The surviving boats turn northeast, attempting to break contact. MH-60 Ardor gunners engage with 50 caliber machine guns, raking the fleeing craft. 18 boats destroyed, 0 escape. At 412 hours, submarine-launched torpedoes enter the battle space. USS Florida, a converted Ohio-class guided missile submarine operating 40 nautical miles southeast of the engagement zone, detects Iranian Kilo-class submarine contacts attempting to flank the strike group. 4 Mark 48. ADCAP. Torpedoes launch from tubes 3 and 4. Wire guidance systems feeding course corrections from sonar operators. Active sonar pings at terminal phase. 2 Iranian submarines, Tarek and Noor, attempt evasive maneuvers, launching countermeasures and diving below thermal layers. Ineffective. The Mark 48s detonate beneath their keels, catastrophic hull ruptures imploding both submarines at 600 feet depth. No survivors. At 418 hours, Iranian shore-based anti-ship batteries engage. Chinese-supplied YJ-60 to land attack cruise missiles launch from concealed positions near Jask. Engagement range 180 nautical miles. But the strike group anticipated this response. USS Florida Ripple fires 24 Tomahawk 4 cruise missiles at pre-programmed Iranian coastal defense sites. Flight time 11 minutes. At 429 hours, Tomahawks strike missile batteries, radar installations, and command bunkers with 1 0-pound warheads. Battle damage assessment confirms 17 hardened targets destroyed. Iranian coastal defenses degraded by 64%. At 421 hours, silence. 28 minutes after initial contact, threat boards across the strike group display 0 active contacts. Damage control teams report minimal fragmentation damage to USS Porter's superstructure from proximity detonations. No casualties, no fires, no flooding. Across the Iranian coastline, 47 ballistic and cruise missiles destroyed, 42 fast attack craft sunk to submarines neutralized, and 17 shore installations eliminated. U.S. casualties 0. Aircraft losses 0. The carrier strike group maintains heading and speed. Flight operations resuming at 435 hours. The tactical lessons were immediate and unambiguous. Multi-layered integrated air defense proved effective against saturation attacks, combining ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and asymmetric surface threats. The engagement validated decades of Aegis development and carrier strike group doctrine. Standard missile-free, Interceptors demonstrated exoatmospheric capability against ballistic threats, a capability Iran's procurement networks could not replicate. SM-6 dual-role flexibility allowed simultaneous air and missile defense, compressing decision timelines for tactical action officers. Phalanx and CRAM terminal defenses created overlapping engagement zones that defeated leakers penetrating outer defense layers. Strategic ramifications cascaded across the Persian Gulf security architecture. Iran's most sophisticated anti-access area denial strategy. Key coordinated ballistic missile, cruise missile, and swarm boat doctrine failed to damage a single U.S. capital ship. The engagement exposed critical vulnerabilities in Iranian procurement, training, and command integration. Revolutionary Guard Corps' naval commanders had executed their optimal scenario. Surprise initiation, massed fires, and asymmetric tactics designed to exploit perceived carrier strike group weaknesses. The result demonstrated the qualitative gap between regional powers and U.S. Fifth Fleet capabilities. Regional allies absorbed the implications. Gulf Cooperation Council nations, monitoring the engagement, recognized the survivability of American naval power projection despite Iranian investment in anti-ship systems. Israel's defense establishment noted the ballistic missile intercept rates, critical intelligence for their own Arrow and David S. Sling programs. Saudi Arabia requested expedited procurement of Aegis ashore systems. The tactical outcome reshaped diplomatic calculations across capitals from Riyadh to Abu Dhabi. Iranian military threats could be neutralized through technological overmatch rather than political accommodation. This engagement fundamentally reshaped operational calculus in the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian leadership confronted the failure of 2 decades of asymmetric doctrine development. The ballistic missile inventory, acquired through Chinese reverse engineering and North Korean technical assistance, proved ineffective against modern missile defense. The fast attack craft swarm doctrine, designed to overwhelm through numbers, collapsed under precision fires from helicopters and strike aircraft. Submarine operations, intended to create ambiguity and forced defensive posture, resulted in total platform loss without achieving engagement. The carrier strike group proceeded through the Strait of Hormuz at 600 hours. USS Gerald R Ford transit the narrowest choke point at 18 knots, her escorts maintaining air defense stations. Iranian coastal radar installations, degraded but operational, tracked the formation but initiated no further contact. Flight operations continued without interruption. The strategic message required no diplomatic communique. The U.S. Navy maintained freedom of navigation through demonstrated lethality, not negotiated access. 28 minutes of combat redefined Persian Gulf deterrence architecture. The engagement validated carrier-centric power projection against the most sophisticated anti-access threat matrix regional power could assemble. Iranian investment in ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and asymmetric surface forces proved insufficient against integrated air defense and layered strike capability. The tactical outcome established operational precedent. Attempts to contest U.S. naval presence through missile saturation would result in asset destruction without achieving mission objectives. The strait remains open not through negotiation, but through demonstrated capability.